This is... Oh, why? Generic intro in the Dr. Goes movie here, back with another kill count reaction. Today we're doing New Year's Evil, which is a movie I have never heard of. It's also from 1980, which is way before the time that I was born, but looking at the mask, it reminds me of The Purge. Maybe The Purge took inspiration for this. I'm not really sure when The Purge, like the idea of The Purge came out. I'm not sure if it was a book beforehand. Also, I don't know if he's actually done kill counts on The Purge. I would imagine he's done, as they've been doing this for 6 years. And there's only so many, I guess, slasher, gory movies, killer movies. I'm not really sure. You can check out my reaction last one, which was Krampus, which I learned a lot about Krampus. I'll leave it right up there. Also, link down below in the description. Also, in a place on my channel with all my other kill counts. Go in chronological order. Yeah, Krampus is apparently real scary because apparently they're not in a dream. They're actually just stuck in a snow globe forever. Based off the comments. I do read all the comments. Leave them down below. Also, shout out to the patrons because they get all the videos a day early. Could not do this if it was not for them. So definitely leave some comments down below. And hope to hear subscribe so you don't miss future videos. I would really appreciate that as we're approaching 100,000 subscribers. But New Year's Evil is a movie I've never heard of. Apparently, Killer Clowns came out on like New Year's Day, I think. He did this one on New Year's Eve, the next one on New Year's Day, and there's kind of like an overlap between the cast or something like that. I'm not really sure, but that'd be next week. It's just so it's easier for people to find each individual video. But let's go ahead and jump into New Year's Evil. All right. Oh, wow. I thought because this video had like less views that it would
Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror
be
movies.
age restricted.
I'm James
or
A. Janice, and today we're
unlisted.
looking at New Year's Evil, a slasher from 1980 that's probably the least known movie I've ever covered on this channel. But hey, it's a New Year's horror movie, so why the hell not? Speaking of which, if you're wondering why I'm wearing a suit, I always wear a suit on New Year's. You gotta put your best foot forward, baby. New Year's Evil follows a punk rock radio personality as she hosts a New Year's countdown in Los Angeles.
What is it?
The killer torments her with threatening phone calls as he murders a new victim every hour leading up to midnight. Most of the movie is your standard slasher fare, but it does have a lot of early punk rock music if you're into that, and an expansive use of Los Angeles that's fun to watch if you know the city. But the main reason we all watch slashers is for the kills. So let's start counting them up as we count down to the end of the year.
Was this... What was he? Was this 2018,
The movie
2017?
begins with Diane Sullivan, better known to her fans as Blaze, as she's getting made up like a Thundercat. Her agent Ernie is rushing her since she's got a show to host, but she's got some Wolf of Wall Street advice for him.
Drop a load and relax, huh?
She calls her friend Yvonne to ask if she's heard from her husband Richard, but Yvonne says he sounded pretty loaded and probably wouldn't make it to her show tonight. As Yvonne is getting ready for the big night, someone opens her door. Should have put that sign on the outside of the door, Yvonne. She doesn't notice him though, and is instead more bothered by the dripping faucet in the bathtub. When she goes to turn it off, she's pulled behind the shower curtain by a man with a knife, fulfilling the stereotype of the black character being the first to die in horror movies. Like, that was an egregious example, man. The opening credits play over an early metal song
unnecessary.
called New Year's Evil, which you should look up and listen to so you can understand what we're dealing with.
They're so good.
Let's see if I can play a clip short enough to not get flagged for copyright.
Oh, well.
Cool, YouTube? While those high notes are being belted out by a band called Shadow that I couldn't find anything about online, youths drive around Los Angeles being youths, which of course means packing 10 people into a car and yelling at anyone.
There's close to 10 people.
When they finally arrive at the Hollywood Hotel hosting Blaze's countdown, they unload their clown car and youth it up some more by messing with the cop who's asking them for tickets. Oh, youths. Back in Diane's room, her son Derek arrives, fresh off Mattel's new line of American Psycho dolls. If you're looking for a guy who will provide bizarre what the fuck moments, he's your man. Here's one out of context. Yeah, what the fuck, right? Also, somewhat interesting, Derek's played by Grant Kramer, who 8 years later would play the lead in Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which will be our first kill count of the new year. So congratulations, Grant Kramer.
Which will be the next
ending 2017 and beginning 2018 here on Dead Meat. He tells her he just landed a part in a series, but she's too busy putting on this iridescent disaster of a dress to pay him any attention. He's all pissed because there be some weird edible shit.
He reminds me of...
She invites him down to watch
his
her
eyes
show,
remind me of somebody.
He'd rather stay in the room
Another
and call his
YouTuber.
dad. You're lost, dude. You're missing out on some sweaty new wave kids hollering at your mom. The show goes live, and Diane goes into full Blaze mode, announcing their jammin' New Year's party is called New Year's Evil because it's edgy or whatever, and saying that they're simulcasting the party in every time zone of the continental U.S. with the nation's biggest party cities. Eastern time with New York City, Central time with Chicago, and Mountain time with Aspen, Colorado? What?
Is Aspen in Mountain time? I guess that makes sense.
Blaze begins taking calls on air so people can vote on the best song of the year.
Everybody forgets about
their
Mountain
favorite
time.
jams to be played. But the second call she answers is from a dude using a voice changer who has a pretty uncreative bad boy pseudonym.
Call me Evil.
He tells her his resolution is to
reminds me of Mermaid and
Because
Barnacle Boy.
this is 1980, before Nipplegate and shit, the call is played live on
Wait, I'm
the
sorry,
air, giving
what?
Derek some concern. Blaze hangs up and Shadow starts playing that New Year's Evil song again, even though we literally just heard it less than 10 minutes.
They only made one song.
Yeah, same exact song, just with more sweaty new wave kids dancing to it. The song goes on
Is
for
it
a
even
while,
better the
and
second
that happens
time?
a lot in this movie. We get extended scenes with long song performances.
Hopefully
I
I'll
actually
have to
kinda
blur
dig on
any
the jam,
scenes.
so I didn't mind too much. But if you're not into shit that sounds like this, you're gonna have a bad time. Evil leaves his phone booth and runs towards everyone's favorite sanatorium, Crawford, then sneaks behind an employee taking out the trash to infiltrate the facilities, armed with nothing more than his shitty alias and a tape recorder. The people in the sanatorium are dancing around to that same fucking song that we get to hear an extended
Did they only have the budget for
third
one
time.
song?
The inmates aren't acted out with much grace, but it is kind of funny when this happens. Nurse Jane, played by Taffy O'Connell, runs into Evil, who introduces himself as Jeff Winters, a fill-in doctor there to help with the holiday workload. He flirts with her, and she's pretty receptive to him, even though he looks like if George Harrison's body parts were used to create Frankenstein's monster. They go to a back room to drink champagne, and you know what? I'll give Evil some credit. I'm always scared as hell when it comes to popping corks off of bubbly, but he does it real smooth like.
Oh,
that's why Jane
that was
agrees to dance with him to the slow, melodious tunes of unsearchable band Shadow, who's now playing some smooth blues that these new waivers are noisily clomping around to.
Why are they all like have their head back?
Backstage, Ernie introduces Diane to two cops, and Lieutenant Clayton wastes no time victim blaming.
Frankly, if you'll excuse my saying so, you got to expect that from the type of audience you appeal to.
Then he tells her the usual shit about keeping the creep on the line long enough to get a trace on him, yada yada, hashtag cop stuff. Diane calls Derek.
Wait a
into her
minute.
room, even though
Why
I
did
don't
the
think
other
Clayton
cop look
keep
like,
that creep on the line long enough, and asks
young
him if
Sheldon's
Yvonne has
dad?
shown up yet. Derek says he hasn't heard from Yvonne or his father, who he's been
Actually,
trying to
haven't
reach,
watched
but
that
says
show.
he has to tell his mom something important, but she hangs up before he can deliver the news. What's the important thing, dude? That you've got a boner for your mom, or that you're taking 3 nondescript pills that'll have no bearing on this plot whatsoever? At the hospital, they have the New Year's
just in there for no
celebration on
reason?
TV as the countdown to midnight on the East Coast begins. Evil has advanced to the motorboating stage of his relationship with Nurse Jane, and as Times Square reaches the last 10 seconds to midnight, Evil
I've heard
starts
it's
recording on his
terrible
cassette player and whips out a switchblade.
to
Right as
go
the countdown reaches
New
midnight,
York
he brings
or
the
Times
knife
Square
down, stabbing Jane multiple times
for
as
New
the
Year's.
murder is intercut with inmates blowing noisemakers. Very similar editing to Barb's kill in Black Christmas. Nurse Jane's body is discovered a little later with all its stab wounds. Shadow kicks off another extended jam sesh that gets a mosh pit going, or as I like to call it, a push party. And when they're done thrashing around, Blaze gets another call from her favorite robotic sex hotline operator.
This is evil.
He tells her he's made his first kill right on schedule, then plays back the tape for her.
But why
proving
is he doing
serious,
this?
Despite his stupid sounding voice. And you know what? Even though he's an unhinged murderer, Evil may not be the most fucked up dude in this movie, because Derek gives him a pretty good run for his money. Exhibit A, him gnawing at some red pantyhose and monologuing into the mirror.
I think I have a mental disorder.
Oh, I don't know, man. What makes you say that? Oh, probably sticking a pin through your ear, huh?
Oh, why?
I think you look dumb. Derek's probably all messed up because his mommy won't give him the loving he wants, so he sits there and tears apart the roses he brought for her.
What?
Watches her dance around and adjust her bra strap. Can't tell who looks dumber here, Derek or the Shadow band member smiling into the camera with a big strand of spit across his mouth. That sucks, dude. Evil uses some spirit gum to apply a high-quality fake mustache to himself and strolls his debonair ass into a disco bar because this
Did you
movie
need
is
the
a nice
mustache?
little time capsule of the year 1980. He picks up Sally,
I
a
wasn't
blonde with a
around.
baby voice, by name-dropping Eric Estrada, because he knows the ladies drop their panties over chips. Back at Blaze's Rockin' New Year's
Eric
Eve,
Estrada?
Shadow's
I have no
out,
idea.
and Made in Japan is in, another band all but lost to obscurity over the past 37 years. Their music is a little more new wave / punkish, with a highbrow catalog that includes such gems as Dumb Blondes. Yep, and again, I just gotta reiterate that these song performances
What?
play out for a long time in this movie. Watching
Which
New
is
Year's
a
Evil is
nightmare
like having your horror
for
movie
YouTube.
interrupted by 90s era VH1 every 5 minutes. Sally spoils Evil's plans by insisting on bringing her friend Lisa along for safety. You're tearing Evil's plans
look at
apart,
that. Look at that.
Lisa.
Someone's
He tries
smart.
to adapt and go along with it, so he gets treated to a charming lesson about the benefits of transcendental meditation.
I stopped biting my nails. Lisa got rid of her nervous diarrhea.
Sally, please.
But Evil is way too fidgety to care about Lisa's watery diarrhea. It's almost midnight Central Time, and he's got some killing to do. Evil pulls
got
into
no
a
time to
liquor
waste.
store and sends Lisa inside to take care of her watery diarrhea and also buy some champagne, which gives us the most stilted transaction scene I've ever witnessed in a movie.
Thank you. And Happy New Year.
That's some real fucking weird editing, man. What's with the shot of Lisa nodding somberly? While Lisa is inside having her robot conversation, Evil makes his deadline and slips a plastic bag over Sally's
what is she
head
gonna
right as they
do?
finish
What about
counting
the other
down to
one?
New Year in Chicago. The strangling takes a while and is kind of sad. Sally seemed like a nice girl, and she didn't even have any watery diarrhea. Lisa
And
comes
she
out of
also
the
did
store
what
to
she
find that
should.
The car is gone, then follows a trail of stilettos to a dumpster in the back where she opens the lid to find none other than
And-
Evil. He grabs
Why
her
do you
by
have
the
to
neck and pulls her into the
surprise her
trash
like
basket
that?
to kill her off screen.
Nobody's around to see
Kill the
that.
movie. Evil quickly calls Blaze to tell her his latest victims are at the corner of Ventura and Laurel Canyon. What up, 818? And the cops arrive at the liquor store to find the two bodies. First, Sally Q Baghead, and then Lisa W Diarrhea, whose corpse slides down a slide with impeccable timing.
Wait, who's
slid
with
down
top?
on all that watery diarrhea? Another costume change means that Evil gets to roll out under a new disguise, this time as a priest. While driving, he gets harassed by
priest
some bikers.
on
I'm sorry,
New Year's?
New Year's Evil. I just don't think anyone, even badass bikers, would flip off a man of the cloth unprovoked like that. But we need conflict, so as Father Evil is fiddling with the radio
maybe if he
stations
passed
and
them.
listening to reports of the sins he's committed, he pulls a peewee and runs into the bikes of the gang, knocking them down and pissing them off. He hightails it out of there, and the bikers give chase and mash,
course.
so Evil ducks into the Van Nuys drive-in theater to hide out for a while. The bikers follow without buying any tickets. They don't need no stinking tickets. I don't know when we
Do they
started
not have a
watching
barrier to
Killer
stop
on this
them?
movie while he's on a frickin' side quest, but I guess that's where we are now, watching Evil worry about the bikers finding him among the other cars.
Yeah, the last thing
tries
he
to
wants
abandon
is
ship,
that much
cornered
drama.
by the biker who flipped him off, and Evil talks his way out of that one with a switchblade to the gut. Later on, cops will mention that a biker was knifed, and since they don't say he was killed, I don't think I can add him to the count, 'cause I'm pretty sure they'd mention it specifically if he was dead. Sorry, Evil,
Maybe.
you're still at 4. Meanwhile, there's some goober necking with his sweetheart in the back of a car until Evil pulls him out of it and
What?
yells in his face. He hijacks the car, conveniently
With her
kidnapping
in it?
another victim, just in time for the Rocky Mountain New Year, which, as the party animals of Aspen let us know, is only 5 minutes away at this point. The girl pleads for her life to Evil, offering money, which does nothing for him, and sex, which makes him take out his knife again, since Evil's whole thing is killing quote-unquote naughty girls. Repressed.
Wait,
freak.
really?
Again, the movie really makes
Also,
you feel
the
sorry
fact
for
that he's still wearing a
potential victim,
priest.
so it's a happy moment when Evil is stopped in the middle of the road by some drunk partiers, and she's able to hop out
Why
of
are they in the
car and
road?
escape. We get the slasher standard of a girl running with poor form through the woods.
Terrible
and we,
form.
the audience, is
Terrible.
almost certain that this poor girl is going to be the next one on the kill count.
Why would
But
you
then
stop?
Those drunken partiers point some police in the right direction, and they deliver her from Evil, calling out to him and scaring him off, giving us an unexpected rescue for the girl. Looks like you missed a deadline, Evil. Clayton announces to Blaze's party that the doors are now closed, and nobody will be readmitted if they leave. A decision Blaze slurs her disagreement with.
I mean, don't we have enough trouble out scaring all the guests?
But no use arguing,
But
Blaze. That
could
plan
people
of
just
action came
leave?
from Dr. Reed, a consulting psychologist who appeared out of nowhere. And since this is a horror movie from 1980, he's got a lot of pseudoscience mumbo jumbo that he delivers
God,
like he's William
this is gonna be
Shatner filling in
something.
for Tom Brokaw.
He's mutilated the breasts of most of his women. That's a common characteristic of a psychopathic killer who has a mother fixation.
Then to weird it up even more, we've got
What?
Derek creeping around backstage, looking like a serial killer who's obsessed with Devo. I don't know what's going on with that dude, but I am here for it. Evil arrives at the party and oversees that the police aren't letting anyone in, so he starts devising a master plan
unhinged.
to infiltrate the premises. I bet it will involve some cool Mission Impossible style gadgets and a whole
Will it?
Ocean's 11 type
Nope.
plan with, oh no, it's a brick, just a brick to the head of this police officer. Yeah, I guess that works too. By the way, I also wanted to count this guy as a kill, but later he's reportedly found knocked cold by other cops.
They just found one of my guys knocked cold down in the garage.
Learn to follow through, Evil. Still at 4. Evil puts on the dude's cop uniform and walks right the fuck in, since apparently the other cop there doesn't know the people he's working with. That's why
I
you
mean,
don't
some-
skip out on
yeah,
company
no,
picnics,
some cops
you
don't
get to
know.
know your co-workers. This other cop, Sergeant
Well, it's also,
Green,
what,
accompanies
Los
Blaze
Angeles?
to a
There's so
room
many
where he
cops.
almost opens fire on Derek,
maybe back
who's
then they
lying
did.
on the bed, probably thinking naughty things about his mom. She apologizes for almost getting him shot.
Derek, I'm sorry. I forgot you were here.
Haven't you always?
Oh, I guess that's why they call you Blaze, because you just got burned. Derek huffs and puffs his way out of there, and instead of chasing after her son, Diane just asks Green to step outside so she can change into her next horrid outfit for the
And
show. While she's getting ready,
Evil's
Evil
there?
pops out of the
Yep.
bathroom in a bleached out Stan Laurel mask that, try as I might, I could not find for sale online. He stares
really?
in the mirror, but when he takes off the mask, the big twist is revealed.
Wait.
Richard, you scared me.
Wait, she knows him?
Yep, turns out the $6 million murderer is her husband Richard, who was name dropped 5 minutes into the movie. He checks in with Green, who's justifiably skeptical of how
He's like,
Richard got into the dressing
yeah.
room. Richard's flimsy excuse, saying Ernie the agent okayed it, doesn't fly with Green, so he radios other cops to tell them something's rotten in the city of Los Angeles. While he does that, Richard finally gets around to some Mission Impossible shit and hooks up some wires
So,
to monitor an elevator, I guess.
why
So when
involve
Diane and
his
Green are
wife?
taking it a little later, having a banal conversation about his family, Richard is able to use a camera inside to watch them and also somehow hijack the elevator with about as much difficulty as it takes
Yeah, I
to
don't think
jumpstart a
it's
car. He sends the
that
elevator down a bunch of floors
easy.
to crash at the bottom and knock them out. Then he extra knocks out Green with a kick. He drags Green out of the elevator and wakes up Diane to tell her that he's evil, delivering
Wait,
the
to tell
revelation
him?
by playing his recording of the nurse murder.
That's right. I'm evil.
Pretty matter-of-fact delivery.
Is it
there,
to,
which
like,
is
help
fine,
her
but what's
career or
not
something?
fine is the most boring final act conversation I've ever had to watch in a slasher. Richard talks about his motivation, which is basically just, misogyny.
Ladies are not very nice people. They are manipulative
And
deceitful
and
Bro.
and immoral
Bro.
and
Bro.
very, very selfish.
Ugh.
Bro,
His whiny little
yeah,
diatribe
no.
goes on for almost an
Good
entire
Lord.
5 minutes. And if you don't
So
think
how does
that's
this
a
movie
long
end?
time, then just think about how many videos you've stopped watching on YouTube 1 minute in because it was boring bullshit. Also, thank you for watching my long-ass videos. Richard holds Diane at knife point and then ties
James,
her
I'd
up
watch
with a
these, they were
chain
an hour
attached to
long.
the bottom of the elevator. Then he delivers a one-liner that he probably practiced a whole bunch of times in front of a
What
mirror.
was his
Enjoy your
deal?
going away party. Get smashed.
Cool, dude. He gets back to his wires and starts the elevator so he can send Diane all the way
Oh,
up and
oh
all
God.
the way down. When
That's
she gets to the
actually
top,
real
Diane sees
creative.
Bond's body because remember,
Oh,
she was
whoa.
sort of a character.
Yeah.
Although, you know, not really. Then some more hot wiring sends Diane back down. But what's that sound, Richard? Could it be the cops finally catching on? It is. Clayton and the other cops run in and they all have a lame-ass shootout. Their stray
That's-
bullets happen to hit Richard's electronical doodad.
And let me guess, it
to
stops-
stop the murder elevator. So great, that worked out, I guess. Richard books it up the stairs and the cops give chase.
Well,
until
why didn't
Richard
he
is
just
all
take the
way up
elevator?
on the roof where he dons his goofy mask again. Looks like the jig is up, homie. Nothing left to do, huh?
Die to sleep. No more.
Well,
Wha-
except I
what?
guess to quote Hamlet and jump off the fucking building.
I haven't
Yep,
seen Hamlet.
Richard
I just
kills
learned about
himself, and
Macbeth
we don't
last
even
week.
get to see a splat. He's just falling and then he's lying there dead. A crowd gathering round because
Given his conversation in the elevator.
Definitely does. He takes the mask off his dead dad and cuddles up next to the corpse.
Dude,
and the cop pulls
what?
up. Diane is carted out on a stretcher into an ambulance, and the paramedic in the back tells the driver to get going. But turns out the driver is Derek in his dad's mask, and on the floor of the passenger seat is the final victim of the movie, a paramedic murdered in an unknown way by Derek.
Huh?
Who would have guessed? He always seemed like such a well-adjusted boy. And
Yeah,
thus
no,
concludes
I
our
guess
final
his
film of 2017
unhingedness
on this
is supposed to be like,
channel. We
oh,
don't
he's
click
just
away
like
yet,
his
all you
dad.
New Year's babies, because you know we've got some numbers to do. Haha! Happy New Year!
What time did he upload this video or
Only
post
6
it?
people died in New Year's.
Oh,
Eve,
that's not
meaning
bad.
This is the way our year ends. Not with a bang, but a whimper. The victims consisted of 4 women and 2 men, giving us our 4th movie in a row with more female victims.
Yeah.
Interesting. With a runtime
Considering
of
for the
86
longest
minutes,
time.
we wound up with a kill on average every 14.33 minutes. I'll give the golden
It's also
chainsaw for
1980.
coolest kill to Sally, just because of how long it went on for and how bad it made me feel for the victim. She was a nice
I mean,
girl.
the
Richard.
elevator was
All
a
machete
real
for lamest kill would
interesting
be that
idea.
paramedic whose body we just see lying there on the floor of the car. How Derek even managed that kill with all those people looking in.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, no,
New Year's
seriously.
Evil was released in 1980 and was the only New Year's horror film I could find, so who knows
Wait,
what it'll be
really?
a year from now. Next week we start
What?
our new
There-
schedule
there was
with
a
a Monday
Purge
release.
that was
of
like
a
on
movie
New
over
Year's, right?
40,000 of you voted for me to cover, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Until then, I'm James A. Janice.
Killer
This has been the
Clowns
Kill
from
Count.
Outer
Thanks a lot
Space?
for watching my
What?
Kill Count for New Year's Eve.
Oh, it
I wanna
is
thank
Killer
some of my
Clowns from Outer
patrons like
Space.
Jonathan Fitz, Rob Mars, Scott Young, and Peter Icona.
Shout out to
Guys, thank you
patrons.
for what is possibly the best
My
year of
name
my life,
is.
2017. The success that you guys have brought this channel is just something I would
I
never
was not
forget.
making
Leave a
reaction
comment
videos
with your
in
favorite
2017.
Kill Count episode of the year and why. I'll be really happy to read it. I'll have a January scheduled video out for you in a couple of days. Happy New Year.
Man, what has been my favorite? What has been my favorite kill count that I've watched so far? So I'm guessing all of these are from. Oh man, I don't. Oh wait, it might have been one of the Chucky movies. I really enjoyed. I didn't watch the thing. I skipped it. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it was one of the Chucky movies. But which one was it? It might have been The Bride of Chucky. I'm not really sure. Or was it Seed of Chucky? It might have been that one. I don't know, I really enjoyed those as well. And a lot of these meme ones like Thanksgiving and Trick or Treat and Jack Frost, all those like low budget ones that are meant to be just kind of like cult followings or whatever. I mean, I feel like everybody loves those, but it's also because they're just so bad that they're good, or not really so bad that they're good, but they're so bad that they're enjoyable. But yeah, New Year's Evil, I didn't realize that this was the only New Year's horror movie, but then Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which I'm guessing he just did that because of the overlap with The Sun being in that one as well. Never heard of either of these two movies. I haven't heard a lot of these movies until I started doing kill counts. Like Black Christmas, never heard of. I've heard of Krampus, didn't know it was a movie though. But I'm excited to watch the next one. It'll be out next week. Patrons get there early. I look forward to reading your comments. Leave them down below. But until the next video, take care and cue the music.